Okay, let's dive in. We are looking deep today at something pretty ambitious. It's the Alabama prison reform proposal.
Mhm.
And this isn't just tweaking things around the edges. It feels like a really
Between dignity and accountability. Using technology as a tool, really, to help foster moral restoration and get people genuinely ready for the workforce.
that shift in philosophy, from just punishment towards restoration. That's what makes this so interesting to unpack.
It is.
The idea is to actually build pathways out of the system, replacing that sort of hopelessness with real opportunity.
hmm
So our mission today is to really look at how it's supposed to work, the nuts and bolts. You've got this massive education piece from Ingram State Technical College, ISTC.
Right.
Then there's the AI doing sort of double duty. And then the virtual reality for skills and behavioral stuff.
It's like an ecosystem, as you said. The
Yeah.
tech isn't just there for show. Each piece is meant to strategically build that bridge back, back to the community.
Okay, so let's start with the base layer, which, let's face it, is often the biggest hurdle in corrections.
Yeah.
Education, access to it.
Yeah.
And the key player here is Ingram State Technical College, ISTC. It's Alabama's only dedicated correctional education provider, and this plan wants to blow its reach wide open.
And this is where that idea of equitable access becomes, well, tangible.
Oh, so?
The framework mandates putting the Kansas Learning Management System, Canvas LMS, on every single inmate tablet statewide.
Every tablet. Wow.
Think about what that means. Before, education might have meant waiting for your turn in some tiny restricted computer lab.
Right, if you were lucky.
Exactly. Now, the classroom is basically in your hand. It's portable. It's available 24/7. It reaches people no matter the security level of the facility or how remote it is.
And here's where it feels really strategic. This isn't just like basic GED prep, is it? It seems super focused on job skills.
Oh, absolutely. Workforce readiness. Targeting skills that are actually in demand. And this is critical in fields where having a felony doesn't automatically slam the door shut.
Okay, like what specifically?
Well, they're talking intensive industry certification pathways. The proposal lists things like HVAC, welding, automotive and diesel mechanics, solid trades, good growth potential, maybe even union jobs down the line.
Right, practical stuff.
Practical stuff. But also things like IT certifications, digital literacy, culinary arts, carpentry. They even include entrepreneurship programs.
Entrepreneurship, interesting. Why that?
Well, it shows they get it, right? Sometimes starting your own thing is the only viable path if traditional employers are hesitant. These are certifications designed to lead to actual living wages.
So the tablet becomes the classroom.
Yep.
And that ISTC certificate becomes a genuine career path. It's a very deliberate, very practical way to try and cut recidivism by tackling that economic instability head on.
And if you step back and look at the proposal's sort of grand vision,
Yeah.
they see this technical certification as the key mechanism for restoration.
Restoration how?
Well, the argument is this: someone leaving with, say, an IT certificate and a real job prospect isn't just a former inmate anymore. They're potentially an economic contributor returning to their community.
Okay, that makes sense. Now let's shift gears a bit to the more cutting-edge tech supporting all this education, the artificial intelligence.
Right.
And we need to think beyond just, cameras watching hallways. This Alabama plan gives AI two distinct jobs. Security, yes, but also this personalized support function, emotional and learning support.
That dual function is crucial. On the security side, yes, predictive analytics. But it's framed more as prevention, not just catching people after the fact.
Prevention. How does AI prevent things?
Well, the idea is AI analyzes all sorts of institutional data, maybe inmate movement patterns, incident reports, communication logs, that kind of thing, to spot potential trouble brewing.
Like predicting a fight.
Potentially, yes. Or identifying rising tensions, maybe specific conflicts before they blow up. The goal is to create a culture of anticipation. Staff can intervene proactively, maybe de-escalate things, which hopefully means less need for lockdowns or segregation.
Okay, so better safety through prediction. But the other side, the support system, that feels even more novel.
It really is. Providing tools for emotional support and self-reflection 24/7.
Oh.
They're talking about AI chatbots designed to offer around-the-clock anonymous emotional support, like a non-judgmental sounding board you can access anytime.
And that connects to this phrase in the proposal, moral compass reinforcement. What does that actually mean in practice?
It's an interesting term, right?
Yeah.
Essentially, it seems to be code for applying principles from things like cognitive behavioral therapy,
Hmm.
CBT, and maybe restorative justice, but through technology.
So the tech delivers therapy.
Not exactly therapy delivered by AI, but tools facilitated by AI. So AI-powered journaling, maybe embedded assessments within the learning modules, tools to help people reflect on their thinking, their decisions, maybe understand the impact of their actions.
I have to admit, I'm a little skeptical here. An AI chatbot for genuine emotional support. Can an algorithm really help someone grapple with complex issues, especially given the likely mistrust of the system itself?
That's a really fair question and a huge challenge.
Yeah.
The proposal seems to frame it carefully. It's not positioning the AI as a replacement therapist.
Okay.
It's more like a consistent, anonymous tool for processing thoughts. Especially useful maybe late at night when human support is thin on the ground. Anonymity could be key there.
Anonymity, right.
And crucially, this AI support layer ties directly back into the education goals.
Oh,
It enables adaptive learning within that Kansas system. So the AI might notice, okay, this person is really struggling with Module 3 of the HVAC course, and it can automatically serve up extra review materials, personalized exercises, quizzes, whatever helps them get over that hump. It tailors the learning path.
so the AI is acting as a tutor, a security analyst, and kind of an anonymous listener.
Sort of, yeah.
And it doesn't stop at the prison gate, right? The proposal mentions AI helping with reentry too.
Absolutely. It's designed to bridge that gap. AI-powered reentry tracking and quite sophisticated job matching.
So it connects the skills they learned.
Exactly.
Wow.
It connects those ISTC certifications directly with employers who have partnered with the program. The idea is to make sure that when someone walks out, they're not just falling into a void.
Okay.
They're actively tracked, matched to jobs they're actually qualified for. That first 6 months back in the community is so critical.
Absolutely is. Okay, let's pivot to the third big tech piece.
Yeah.
Virtual reality, VR.
Right.
So if AI is handling the more cognitive stuff and the tracking, VR seems aimed at the practical, hands-on skills and maybe those harder to teach behavioral aspects.
Precisely. VR's strength is allowing practice without real-world risk, which is huge for both the job training and the emotional development side.
Okay, tell me more about the emotional side first. The proposal mentions VR empathy simulations. How does that work?
Well, think about conflict resolution. Instead of just reading about it or role-playing awkwardly in a group,
Yeah.
an inmate might put on a headset and find themselves in a virtual scenario, maybe a tense situation in a common area, or a difficult conversation with a simulated family member during a visit.
Wow. Okay.
And they have to actually practice de-escalation. The system might even give feedback on their choices, maybe their tone of voice, if the tech is sophisticated enough. It forces active practice in managing emotions and navigating conflict. That's part of rebuilding that moral compass they talk about.
That really is a shift from just listening to lectures to actually doing experiential learning.
Totally. And that same principle applies directly to those job certifications we discussed.
How so? With VR.
Yeah, the VR vocational labs. Imagine replicating environments that are maybe expensive or dangerous or just hard to set up inside a prison.
Like what?
You could practice complex welding joints, troubleshoot a big diesel engine, maybe wire a building frame for carpentry, all safely inside a virtual simulation.
That saves a lot of money and space, I bet.
Huge cost saver, potentially. And it guarantees everyone gets that hands-on practice needed to actually pass the industry certification tests.
And one really important point the proposal makes that VR tech isn't just for the inmates.
No, and that's vital if you want real systemic change. It's also built into staff training.
For correctional officers.
Yep. Using VR for de-escalation training, practicing safety procedures, putting officers into realistic, high-stress virtual scenarios helps them practice staying professional, calm, and making safe choices. Ultimately, that should reduce violence and just improve the whole atmosphere.
So when you put it all together, you've got this big structural reform, education at the core, sophisticated AI providing support and security analysis, and then VR for practicing both job skills and behaviors.
Right.
And this didn't just come out of nowhere, right? There are influences from other places.
Definitely. This kind of a holistic approach, you can see echoes of systems like Norway's.
Ah, the Norwegian model.
Exactly. Which famously changed its prisons by focusing on normalization, basically, making prison life and the skills learned inside as close as possible to life on the outside. Alabama seems to be adapting that idea, but using these high-tech tools.
So ISTC normalizes the skills.
Right. And AI and VR provide the sort of training wheels for normalizing behavior and emotion management.
But none of this means anything if it doesn't actually work, right? There has to be accountability.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the proposal doesn't shy away from that. It lays out some very concrete, measurable targets. And crucially, these are meant to be reviewed by independent oversight panels.
Okay, how ambitious are we talking here? What are the goals?
They are.
Yeah.
Well, they're really ambitious. They're shooting for a 10% annual reduction in recidivism rates.
10% a year.
Yeah. If they could sustain that, it would fundamentally change the state's correctional landscape over time.
Close.
They expect 70% of the people who get these ISTC certifications to find jobs within 6 months of release.
70% employment, that's high.
It is. And internally, they want a 40% drop in prison violence. And get this, a 90% participation rate in the Canvas LMS education programs.
90%, wow. That really shows how central that education piece is to the whole model's success metric.
It really does. The tech and the education, they absolutely depend on each other. And the timeline is pretty quick, too.
Oh, yeah.
Year 1 is supposed to see the Canvas rollout and the AI pilot starting. Year 2 brings in the more complex VR simulations and officer training. Full integration is targeted within 5 years.
5 years, okay.
Yeah.
And the money, this kind of tech overhaul can't be cheap.
No, definitely not. The proposal points to federal funding sources like BJA, Smart Reentry Grants, Second Chance Act money, those kinds of things.
But federal grants alone probably won't cut it long term, right?
Probably not.
Yeah.
The real financial success, and honestly the overall success, hinges on buy-in from employers in the community.
Ah, making the connection.
Exactly. The plan stresses needing strong partnerships with businesses, maybe using tax incentives to really encourage companies to hire these ISTC grads.
Makes sense.
If the community doesn't recognize these certifications and see the value, then the whole education effort kind of fizzles out job-wise. That connection is vital.
So let's try and wrap this up, synthesize the core idea. This deep dive into Alabama's proposal seems to paint a picture of a future corrections model where education delivered through Canvas builds real marketable skills.
Right.
AI provides that tailored support, cognitive, emotional, security-wise, and VR gives people the chance to practice the job skills, practice the emotional regulation needed to actually make it on the outside. The whole stated aim is replacing that cycle of prison release reoffend with a real chance at a stable life.
And I think the fundamental argument underpinning it all is that investing in people's humanity, their future potential, even when they're incarcerated,
Yeah.
that doesn't weaken justice.
Okay.
The proposal argues it actually provides a path towards, well, true societal redemption.
Yeah.
It shifts the conversation about accountability away from purely punishment towards this idea of ethical, tech-driven restoration.
Which leaves us with a big question, maybe.
Yeah, it forces you to ask, if this approach, using AI and VR responsibly and effectively, can reshape how we think about justice and accountability in prisons, where else could it apply? How might these tools, used ethically, change how we tackle other really deep societal problems, like, say, chronic poverty or community mental health crises?
That's definitely something to chew on. A really thought-provoking look at where technology might be taking corrections. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the sources today.
Yeah, fascinating stuff.
We hope you found this exploration as illuminating as we did.